Hey guys, it's me, Daniel, and we are back with another 514 Kids online, and I cannot believe that it is December already. Oh my gosh, this year has gone by so quickly, but I'm really excited because it's Christmas, and Christmas is one of my favorite times of year because I love the traditions, I love the gifts, I love giving people gifts, but most importantly, I love celebrating our big idea for the month, God's greatest gift, the person of Jesus. And we're gonna dive into a message all about how God keeps his promises. But promises are a big word, right? Have you guys ever made a promise? I know I have. Now let me ask you this. Have you ever broken a promise? I know I have more than one. I hate to say it, but guys, do you trust people who have broken their promises? Maybe if they break it once or twice, right? Because we all make mistakes, but what if they make a promise and then break it and then continue to do that? It's hard to trust them, right? Thank goodness that God does not do that with us. You see, because God made a promise that he was going to be there for us, right? He made a promise in the very beginning that he was going to be with us. And so let's take a look throughout the Bible and see that God was there and he kept his promise. You see, he was there in the garden when Adam and Eve were there. He was there with Moses, right? When Moses was fleeing the Egyptians with the Israelites and he had to part the water. He was there with Joshua and all of the battles that he fought to keep the Israelites safe. God was there. He was keeping his promise. He was there when David fought Goliath. He was there when the writers of the Psalms wrote those poems and those songs celebrating God, and he was there to give Esther courage. Guys, God kept his promise to be there with us. But the Israelites, God's people, and then throughout time, we have shown that we don't always keep our promises to God, right? The Israelites, even though God was there and he would constantly show up, the Israelites would find some other thing to worship, or they would go and join some other nation and they would get bullied and mistreated, and then God would show up because God keeps his promises. And then the Israelites would be like, oh, isn't God so great? Isn't he wonderful? And then they would follow God for a little bit. But then a little while later, they would do the same thing. And so God would send like judges or kings like David or prophets like Elijah and Elisha to help steer them and give them truth and remind them of how great God is and how he always keeps their promises. But guys, the Israelites continued to do things the way they wanted to instead of doing the things the way God wanted to. And in fact, we see in the book of Isaiah, let me grab my phone real quick. I've got this verse right here. In the book of Isaiah, in chapter 9, verse 6, there's a promise that's made, right? A promise that's going to be made that will not only affect the Israelites, but it will affect you and me, and it affects us every day. Are you ready for this promise? Isaiah 9, verse 6 says, "A child will be born to us. A son will be given to us. He will rule over us, and he will be called Wonderful Advisor and Mighty God. He will also be called Father who lives forever and Prince who brings peace." Guys, this is a promise that God is making to us, that even though we mess up, even though we don't keep our promises to him, God is going to keep his promises to us, and he sent us Jesus. Jesus is all of those things. He is a wonderful advisor. He is strong and mighty. He will live forever, and he is a prince who brings us peace. Isn't that an amazing gift to receive? No matter what we get during our Christmas celebrations, nothing that we get will ever be as good as Jesus. And even though life is not going to go our way all of the time, right? There are going to be bumps in the road. There are going to be times where we mess up and we do things that people in our lives that we trust mess up, and they do things that God wouldn't want them to do. But we can have hope because we have Jesus. And that's our bottom line today. We can have hope because we have Jesus. Guys, that's what Christmas is all about. I can't wait to dive further into this with you the rest of this month, but I hope you have a great week. Stay safe, and I'll see you soon.